Welcome back to County Connection. I'm Jason Gray, and I'm sitting down today with Chris Prager, who is a fire inspector at the Campbell County Fire Department.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm here to really give a public service announcement to the community just about fires in general, realistically. Something we've seen happen more often is a rise in fires caused by smoking materials, cigarettes, cigarette butts, and things like that. And we just want to talk about things that you should and shouldn't do. So a lot of people smoke, and that's fine, it's their choice. But carelessly discarding them can cause fires, which lead to grass fires, home fires, and things like that. And discarding them into dead vegetation, dead grass, piles of trash, even in plastic buckets around a deck. There's a lot of things that can cause fires from that.
Sure. Okay, so what is the proper way to dispose of the smoking materials?
So when disposing of smoking materials, the best way would be to use a metal bucket with water. You're dousing the embers, and it's no longer going to be at temperature where it can start a fire in grass or anything like that. You could stick it in a metal bucket with sand and smother it, leave it for approximately 24 hours, so that way it no longer has any heat to it. Ultimately, things you don't want to do is put it in a potted plant with fertilizer. Which will definitely cause a fire. We've seen that recently on decks. Even if you never miss the bucket, you may miss the bucket, or wind can come and take them up out of a bucket as we have gusts of wind.
Sure.
But definitely putting it into a non-combustible, which would be metal or something that doesn't burn, bucket with water or sand is the best way to prevent that from happening.
All right. What are some other potential causes of fires the public should think about?
So especially leading into these holiday seasons, high potentials would be cooking fires, electrical fires, or again, smoking materials. As things dry out and die vegetation-wise, you're going to see a rise in the potential for fire. While we might have moisture on the ground, things can still burn.
Sure.
Like the BLM will actually do burn projects in the wintertime of large slash piles, which is just twigs and branches, where they do this in the winter and it burns just fine. If it's dead, it does burn. So when we're running into things like that, we tell a lot of people who say, oh, there's snow on the ground. Doesn't mean the grass isn't dead underneath and we're not going to have a fire. So cigarettes and backfiring of cars, hot working, grinding, welding, things like that can definitely cause grass fires or other types. Some other things we look at are cooking fires, not just in your kitchen, but coming up at Thanksgiving. We've seen grease fires where people try to deep fry a turkey inside of a garage, which could potentially lead to an overflow of grease. And as the grease dissipates, becomes more of a vapor, it's flammable, and it will combust into a fireball, which then will lead to a potential garage fire or home fire. So doing something like that on a wooden deck is not ideal. Another thing that I've seen would be grilling, especially towards the late end of the summer. It's nice outside, you're not standing out in the heat, you kind of get these nice cool afternoons that are 60s. And if you're grilling, the big thing to remember is follow what the manufacturer says. Every manufacturer has stipulations as to where you should put the grill. On a non-combustible surface, away from railings that can burn. Because we've seen that where people put it too close to their house, a grill, they use it for dinner time, they go inside, and an hour later, part of the deck or part of the house is on fire, and nobody knows why. Generally, it's just complacency when you're seeing things like that. And leading into Christmas, I will probably give more information then, but Christmas time is another large rise in it when you're looking at heaters in a home. You're looking at extension cords being used for lights inside and outside, electrical failures because you're overloading circuits. So I'll cover more of that probably in a later, but those are definitely things that we're seeing a rise in for sure this year in Campbell County.
All right. And is there anything else you'd like to share this month or for upcoming months about fire prevention or fire safety?
I think overall, just be cognizant of what you're doing, how you're discarding material, and what you're using around your house, whether it be electrical cords or things like that. And if you have any inclination that something is wrong or something could be harmful to you, do not hesitate, because we will gladly come out and verify for you and make sure ultimately everybody is safe.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you.
you.